Okay, we are back and we are going to take a look at the upper left side, the last video for this patient. In this particular case, we're doing immediate placements on 12 and 13, or I probably should say evaluating for immediate placements on number 12 and 13. So let's go ahead and take a closer look. And these are the original plans that were sent to me. These are the duplicate plans, and so let's take a peek. So the first thing I always like to do when doing immediate placements is oftentimes use the root. But let's go ahead and start with what I want to do first, which is to draw an outline of the bone. So we can see right here, there's our bone, probably somewhere like so. Okay, and then please take note that right here, the bone seems to be missing. Okay, so right away, I already know that in this particular case, I'm going to likely need to do a graft. I'm going to need to flap and make sure this cleans out. So this is the first thing I take a look at. So from our initial plan, based on this bone level, I can already see that our implant is not deep enough. So we definitely need to have the implant deeper to this level as where the bone is, and then quite honestly, for immediate placements, we need to have it deeper because you should and will expect to have some bone resorption from this. So let's go ahead and take a look. Again, not my particular favorite implant system. I don't like a 3.8 here. I would probably want to go with the 4.3, but that's where I start with, and then we'll decide based on that. So one last thing, I'm going to hide this implant here. The other thing with immediate placement is, let me also do this here. I'm going to redraw my bone, just like so. And then what I'm also going to do is draw our tooth. And our tooth is right here. And the other thing I also keep in this is infection area. Okay, so all of these areas in yellow are useless to me in terms of gaining primary stability. So we need to make sure that when we do this, that we keep our implant in areas where we can achieve primary stability. So based on this, all of this, so we need to get our implant suddenly, the go zone for our implant is going to be trying to get stability up here. Okay, so we're going to need to use a long enough implant to where I can get stability in here. And obviously we have to, a couple of things, we need to make sure we maintain this buccal plate in the extraction process, and then we need to deal with this area right here in terms of grafting and cleaning prior to placing the implant. So again, if we take a look at our implant, we can see that number one, as I pointed out earlier, it's not at the bone level. Two is there is no primary stability here, at least certainly not from this view. Other views may show it engaging in the bone, but my knowledge of this particular implant is not that we have very aggressive threads. So my plan in this case would probably be this would be my bone level, okay, and then I would start looking at tilting it like so, cheating over here to the lingual to get back into my occlusal plane like so. And then lengthwise I would want to go longer, and unfortunately the Camlog system does not allow me to go longer. So I'm left with 13mm implant. My guess, again, and just a guess, my guess would be that this particular implant system is not going to allow me to achieve primary stability or immediate placement. So just to kind of give an idea, what I would like to do is go to my particular favorite implant in this situation is the NobelActive, and so we can go to their 4.3 by 13. One, you can see we have more aggressive threads, but two, now I can go to a 15mm length implant, and now I can gain primary stability, one, from these areas right here, and more importantly from here. And so I would have a tendency to choose this particular implant and this site. Now the other more issue that I want to look at, and it may not be anything we can do anything about, is our occlusal plane here. So if we were to take a look at our occlusal plane, what we can see that it is tilted down, so we're going to have off-axis loading on this implant. So what we would like to do more ideally is probably something like this, but to do that we're going to end up running into this canine, so that is not really an option for us. So in a case like this, we're going to have to choose to go off axis and choose a compromise. We simply do not have an alternative option. So again, we will use these same principles applied to this particular area as well. And if we were to take a look at again here, what we could see here is that our bone is about right here. Okay, that this area right here is infected, that our tooth is right here, and so based on this particular plan we have as it is, this implant is not gaining any primary stability, so we're going to have a difficult time. This implant's going to spin. So again, let's take a closer look. One, we would want to go a bit deeper. Deeper than the bone level is now, because we're going to have bone loss. Okay, and again, still that doesn't get us the stability we need. So the next option is to go longer, but this particular implant doesn't have that option. So we'll go to an implant that does have that option. And again, we still are not gaining primary stability in this case. So I would not be necessarily comfortable there. So one option would be to consider going off angle like so, somewhere in this ballpark. Now we may be able to gain stability. We may be able to do just a single 2mm pilot hole and allow the implant to condense and expand. The aggressive threads to engage the bone. We will allow the guide to keep the implant from walking to the area, because the sleeve and the guide will put the implant in the right spot. So this kind of gives you an idea of the importance of the implant selection that we have in terms of being able to do various implants. So hopefully this was helpful and makes sense. And again, the occlusal plane issue is here as well. We want to check all those things out. So, and then one last thing is this infection through the buccal plate? That's something we want to take a look at. And here we can see it's very, very thin. My guess would be that taking this tooth out and curetting it, in fact, you can kind of see right here that it's too thin. I would expect to have to graft this area as well, have to flap all the way up. You'd have to really, really extend this flap, release this incision, extend it way up here, be able to clean this out, make sure it's totally clean, graft that area, and then place a membrane and go from there. So hopefully this has been helpful, and thank you very much.